Hey, it's Abdullah Sameer. I have a somber, more serious topic today, which is the honor killing, or the so-called honor killing of Israa Ghareeb, a young Palestinian woman, makeup artist who was just starting her life, about to get married soon, and her life was abruptly ended. Now, we don't know for sure that this is what happened, that it was actually an honor killing, but all the evidence seems to lead to the fact that it is. Comments from friends. I'm going to share what I pieced together based on the various news articles that I've read, and I'm going to tell you that this is a very sad video, and it was a difficult one to make. So keep that in mind. So what was the trigger? The trigger was, according to Israa's friends on social media, it was a video of her with her fiance, so a man she was going to be married to. So this is not even like an extramarital affair. There's no evidence that she was sleeping with him. And even if she was, this wouldn't have been the appropriate response. Now, the video was sent to her father and brothers by a relative they were outraged, claiming it dishonored the family by showing her together with her fiancé before the official wedding ceremony. Israa was physically assaulted by her brothers and they broke her spine. Other sources say that she sustained her serious spinal injuries when she fell from the second floor of her house, or jumped, basically, attempting to escape the family's violence, into the hospital. So she was in the hospital and she wrote, "I'm strong and have a will, and if I didn't have a will, I would have died already yesterday. Therefore, don't send me messages saying, 'Be strong.' I'm strong. And God's mercy and the goodness of His emissary will punish anyone who hurt me and anyone who judge me. Wish me a successful operation," she wrote. So even from a hospital bed, she was still being very positive about the fact that she was, going for surgery for what, and she had pictures. She had pictures of herself with bruises that, where did those bruises come from? I mean, in any country, this would be a red flag, and immediately, there would have been someone asking her if she experienced trauma, physical abuse, or sexual abuse. Now, another post of hers appended to the words, "A photograph of an outstretched arm pierced with an IV and the following promise." Now, she's basically has to turn down probably her makeup appointments with other women, right? "I'm sorry for what I'm about to say, but I must cancel all my appointments for the month of August and September because my health situation does not allow me to work. I'm suffering from a fracture in my spine and today will operate on me. And if it succeeds with God's help, I'll let you know. If not, I will cancel everything." So she's at the point now where she realized she couldn't work because of her injuries were quite severe. And she's letting people know that I can't work right now, and sorry about that. The next thing that happened in the hospital was we found out from a friend of hers called Ramana Nasir, who says she's a friend of Israa. She recorded this chilling voice note where it sounds like it's Israa screaming for help and being beaten. Take a look. These voice notes were allegedly recorded and sent by a nurse who heard the noise while she was near Israa's room. According to witnesses from the hospital, it was Israa's brother-in-law who was with her in the room. Another report says her father, brothers, and brother-in-law followed her to the hospital and resumed the beating, telling hospital staff they were performing an exorcism on the victim, who they believe was possessed by a demon. Israa was heard screaming, "Police, where's the police?" But no help was offered. So this is again so sad that the hospital couldn't keep her safe from her own family members. Later on August 30th, her brother-in-law, in a live broadcast on his Facebook profile, denied all the accusations and claimed that she died from a heart attack. He said she was not beaten by her family, and the sounds of her screaming in the hospital was because she was jinn possessed. Leaving the hospital, she was then released from hospital, I'm not sure how, back to the same people that were abusing her. After she returned home, she allegedly suffered a head injury at the hands of her brother, Ehab, who is a resident of Canada. Eyewitnesses say he had threatened to kill her earlier that day, prompting some on social media to call on the Canadian government to take legal action against him. Ghareeb went into a coma before her heart stopped. I mean, this is also very tragic. Like, I just don't even have any words to say anything. I'm just going to share something. What is the Islamic ruling on honor killings? This is from a Salafi website. Praise be to Allah. Killing a Muslim unlawfully is a serious matter and a grave crime. Allah says, and whoever kills a believer intentionally, his recompense is hell, to abide therein, and the wrath and curse of Allah are upon him, and a great punishment is prepared for him. And it says that even if someone had committed zina, it's not permissible to kill them unless these other conditions are met, including, there has to be 4 male witnesses who saw the private part meet. So, there's no way that this was legal in Islam. Islam does not permit such killings. There's a hadith that says, there is no man whose 2 daughters reach the age of puberty and he treats them kindly for the time they are together, but they will gain him admittance to paradise. There's another hadith that said, a poor woman came to me along with her daughters. I gave her 3 dates. She gave a date to each of them, and then she was going to eat the last date, but her daughters were hungry and she split it between them. And because of that, she was promised heaven, as supposedly as Muhammad said. So more importantly was this one, which is that, a man who has 2 daughters and he raises them and he treats them kindly, they will gain paradise. So the question is, if Islam doesn't allow this, how did this happen, and why is this happening in Muslim countries? It's quite a complicated matter. Just like FGM, we find these things are not actually allowed in Islam, but they do tend to happen among Muslims. And why is that? Because, again, it's complicated, but Islamic teachings influence a culture, and there's certain values that mix together and they come up with these sort of things that happen, right? The misogynistic teachings are there in Islam, but killing women for adultery is not allowed. It has to be done with a judge, even if she did commit adultery, and there has to be evidence. So this is completely wrong. And again, if she was single and never married, there wouldn't be any killing. She would be lashed. So this is not allowed according to Islam. Why am I saying this? Because this is what I think, this is what I believe, that this is not because of Islam that she was killed. Although Islam may play a role in this matter, in the influencing of the cultural values. We can't blame Islam per se here, because clearly this is not allowed in Islam. According to Arab News, 12% of all homicides in Palestine in 2018 were honor killings. 12%. Nahid, coordinator of the Gender Studies program at Birzeit University in the West Bank, says the violence is mainly caused by the lack of strict laws in Palestine and the fact that Palestinian law allows a reduction in the punishment for those who kill women if the crime falls within so-called honor killing. She noted that the public prosecution did not take action on Isra's case until it became a public issue, especially on social media. The health sector did not handle the Israa case properly, and the police were not informed there was an attack against her, right? So there's some changes needed in the Palestinian laws, and this is the change that we need to support. Now, what has been the response from other Arab men and women? Well, let's take a look. There's been a hashtag that's trending now called We Are All Israa, Kulna Israa Ghareeb, that's trending on Twitter. And as well, there's many Muslims, including Saudis and other Muslims, that are speaking about this. Let's take a look. For example, this fellow, Muhammad al-Jassim al-Tamimi in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, had the hashtag We Are All Israa, and he said, "We demand justice and demand the protection of our friends who showed the right, basically showed the facts and documented what happened and proof, and now they're being targeted by sick people to stop them from condemning what happened," right? So this is one example. There's also been some protests, right? Take a look at this. These are protesters in front of the PM's office in Ramallah demanding justice for Israa Ghareeb and protection for women from violence and discrimination. So-called honor crimes are dishonorable premeditated murder. And there's also this video of a protest. Take a look. So from what we can see, Muhammad al-Jassim al-Tamimi was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So this is in Saudi, and he has a popular account, and his tweets have got over 1,000 retweets. So a lot of people are actually seeing this guy calling for justice for this young woman. So these are Muslims, right? These are mainly Arabs. Muslim men and women were outraged over this murder. We should keep that in mind, that these toxic values do exist in the culture, but there are other voices who see this as an injustice and want this to end. We need to support these voices instead of just shitting on all Muslims and saying, "Oh, look at these barbarians, look at these evil, scumbags, like all of them are the same." No, clearly they're not all the same, and we need to support people who are fighting against this, right? And in conclusion, we should be grateful that there was, recordings of what happened. And there was an outcry over this. The story needs to go viral. It has gone, but we need to keep pushing it. So the next time this happens, these men don't get away with this, and they fear that if they're the ones who killed the daughter or the sister or wherever, they will be punished. They will be humiliated. They will be brought to justice. And this is what we need to do as human beings. We need to all be together to protect the vulnerable amongst ourselves. Let's use her death and not let her death go to vain. Let's make an outcry against so-called honor killings, show that they are dishonorable killings, that these people are shameful people, that there needs to be no sympathy for such people who do such things. Many Muslims are rightfully angered by this, and we need to support them in the struggle against honor killings. Thanks for watching. This is Abdullah Sameer signing out.